I can't speak for everybody, but myself, I go from peace to panic every 6 hours, whether I need it or not. Right. So when when the inventory is short and the buyers are frustrated and you're thinking outside of the box, but there's not enough context to get people wwhere they need to be. Right. Fatigued. They've written too many offers. They're like, I'm just going to stay with my parents for 6 months. The interest rates are going up. So you have all of that. So.
Welcome to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the local real estate market. Join us as we chat with industry experts, uncovering tips, trends, and strategies to help you navigate Maryland's real estate landscape. Get ready to elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in. Hi, y'all. Thank you so very much for joining us. This week, we have a treat for you. And I would love to say thank you so very much for the reviews that we're receiving. Thank you for listening and just giving an honest input of each of the videos that you're seeing, whether it's audio or the visual videos. Thank you so very much, everyone, for listening to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast. Today, we have Heather Schaefer Adkins with us today. Do you use both names or just go with Heather?
I do. Well, it depends. I mean, some people call me Heather Adkins. Some people call me Heather Schaefer Adkins. But I kind of regret keeping my maiden name in there because it's long. And,
right.
But I was already established in real estate. So.
Yes,
and
I understand
it was
that.
Definitely a sticking point for Brian. Brian. Definitely a sticking point for me.
I do love me some Brian too. If y'all are not aware that Heather's husband is a fabulous carpeting and flooring guy. If you ever need a referral, he comes right up to your house, brings you the swatches. I remember, God, I've had him do so many different properties of mine. He's just like, Jen, I'm not in the area. You know what? Sweep on my house and get the little pad look. And I'm like, he's just so thoughtful, and he's just I appreciate the way he does business. He's like, you have animals. You don't want to get the really good stuff. Just get the stuff that gets you by with the animals. And then redo it. And I'm like, oh my God, that made so much sense to me. It like blew my mind because he's right. I had 3 dogs at the time, and they were older and having accidents, and it was a lot different. And he's just always been such an awesome guy to deal with.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely. So, Heather, tell us a little bit about who you worked for and what got you into the business.
So funny enough, I spent the majority of my career with Joan Ryder over at Joan Ryder and Associates. And she actually came to a job that I was working at Preston Stationery.
Wow.
And she's
in Bel Air?
In Bel Air while I was in college. And she said, I need a receptionist. Are you interested? And, I was young. I was like, okay, maybe. So I came and interviewed with her. And really, I got into real estate sales almost by accident. But real estate, I went to work in her office administratively, and I just fell in love with everything about it.
Wow.
Like Joan herself is larger than life. And she is, to this day, the reason I am doing what I'm doing. Because she's just an amazing real estate agent. She's an amazing community member. She gets the give where you live kind of scenario. When I was younger, I didn't really get all of that. But, as my business grew and I grew, then that's, I really, really appreciate everything that she did. And I did all the stuff that she did. I, joined the association and became president of the association. And I'm a RPAC major contributor, and all of that is what I saw her do. And I contributed that to her success and her stake in the real estate community. So, but as time goes by and everybody's, their situations change, I was going on a different path. And so Joan and I parted ways. I got a call from Kim Letchin over at Long & Foster, and we started talking and decided to try a partnership. And that's 3 years strong.
Wow.
Now. So in 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, got my broker's license. We thought about maybe doing a boutique brokerage, and really just figured out that coming to Long & Foster, Kim was already established. I joined her here. Mike Scarborough is phenomenal broker. He's really great, welcomed me with open arms, has been a really good, it was a really good move for me. So yeah, so that's how I got to where I got. I've been in the business for about 30 years now. So I was
Wow.
19 when I started working for Joan, and I only got my real estate license because I wanted to be able to tell the other agents, because we didn't have computers yet. So I wanted to be able to tell the other agents, what's on the market. If they were in constant friendship, which was a big concentrated neighborhood, I could at least tell them that there were other houses for
Right.
sale that our agents had listed, so they would know. So that's why,
Wow.
and then I just fell in love with every facet of it. So
I got into it right as the internet became
yeah,
in 2000, or I'm sorry, 96. And
yes,
right when email started, internet started. So
yes,
I saw
yes.
a little bit of the old way of doing it with the books in the office, as
Mhm.
well as doing it the new way in 96. Wow,
Yeah, so
that's
it's been
something else.
interesting to see it all move, in the direction that it moved. And
It has.
it's, yeah, yeah,
It
I'm
has.
always in awe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Now I'm going to ask you to be a little humble here,
Okay.
because I think it's important in what we're about to share. So you all are knowing you are in the right place if you're looking to listen to how an agent did 50 transactions during 2022 and
Mm-hmm.
closed almost $18 million in business. That's what we're here to talk about, and to
Mm-hmm.
talk about what she's doing in 2023. That we have 18 million already closed and in the books, and we have still other ones that are pending and are active.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share with our people, our listeners here, exactly what Heather is doing to have success every day, how she starts her day, every day, how she goes through her own daily success plan in order to have this business that she has, how she's grown it. So, first of all, fabulous production especially in a down economy. Congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
Absolutely. And I wanted to find out, has this been very difficult to pivot in the last 12 months?
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I can't speak for everybody, but myself, I go from peace to panic every 6 hours, whether I need it or not. Right. So when the inventory is short and the buyers are frustrated and you're thinking outside of the box, but there's not enough context to get people where they need to be, right?
Mm.
Buyers are fatigued. They've written too many offers. They're like, I'm just going to stay with my parents for 6 months. The interest rates are going up. So you have all of that. So my buyer pool is definitely down or on hold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very fortunate to have the listings that I have, and I like to think that I have some really cool ones, and all of my business is really by referral. So the only place you will see my sign advertised is at my golf club, and I just do that because I love my golf community over at Winners Run. And if you're in a golf cart there, you'll see my mug.
I love it.
Yeah, but other than that, outside of sponsoring different charities, I do like to do a lot of that. I like to give back to the community. But this particular year, let's talk. I'm sorry, let me backtrack because I will go off on a tangent. So last year I was the president of the Harford County Association of Realtors, on top of working and my production. And this year I'm not. So I have put a lot of volunteer hours into the association. So it was kind of a double whammy for me, right? So
Sure.
my volunteer hours are now down for the association, and business is down. So it's kind of like you have to reset. But what that did for me this year specifically, and this is what we were talking about before you started airing, like, everyone has their own path, and you define your success by what you want, not necessarily what the industry standards are, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
always looks at production, like production is the big the golden goose, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the case. I have a child, he's 15 this year. He wanted to work in Ocean City for the summer. And one of the things that a slower market will give you is either the ability to grind harder or the ability to take some time off, or maybe a combination of both. Like, I didn't miss a baseball game. I didn't, that I could go to. He wanted to work in Ocean City for the summer with a few of his friends, and he was able to accomplish that. That involved me being a little bit further away. So I haven't been grinding as hard this summer as I normally would. And, that's going to speak to my production a little bit too. But I feel wonderful about it
I love
because I
that.
spend this summer, I'm working full time, don't get me wrong, but I might be working 40 or 50 hours versus 60 or 70 hours, which is really the hustle, right? So, and the other thing it taught me is that having some time to breathe is not necessarily a bad thing.
Definitely not.
So the last few years have allowed me to do a lot of really awesome things financially, and otherwise. So, um, I think for me, it was really good to be able to reset. But back to the piece to panic, right? So we're entrepreneurs. So if we're not hustling all the time, we sit idle too much, our brains start working the wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole stinking thinking thing.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, so so I've tried really hard on not do that and to stay in a positive frame of mind. And when I need positivity, I go to my positive people. You get there's I don't know, Tracy Sims, no, Betty Klepka is heads up like a women's meet and greet, just a think tank kind of thing. And I have yet to be to one, but it is on my radar of something that I really, really want to do because I like being in front of other agents through other companies and seeing what everybody's doing.
I love
So
that. I love
yeah,
that. I'm going to pick up, there's two things that you said in here that I'd like to highlight. One is that your business is mostly by referral only. So are we
yes,
talking about past clients referring repeat business,
yes,
past
repeat,
clients referring your current clients, and your sphere? That's where your business is
yes,
coming from?
yes, exactly. So
Fabulous.
I work my database, right? So I have my database that I work several hundred people. But I've been in the county my whole entire life, and I got licensed in Pennsylvania back in the early 2000s when the market was moving. A lot of people were transferring into Pennsylvania, but I grew up in northern Hartford County, so I had a lot of people that I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I grew up with that were going that way. But yeah, I don't farm an area specifically, but I do really work that client list and just answering the phone. Don't put the phone down. I mean, create boundaries, but picking up the phone is half the battle. And I'm not talking to cold call. I'm talking if somebody calls you and wants to know about a property, then make sure you call them back. Follow up is key. So,
That's where all the money is. It's in
yeah.
follow-up.
So, yeah.
And
And
so
get involved. I like to stay involved in my community, and I don't know where some of my business comes from, but it's not from, I don't pay for leads or advertising as far as that's concerned. The one place I told you, I do a lot of sponsorships for things that are near and dear to my heart. I'm um, a big contributor to the Hartford County Humane Society. I'm one of the members of their Voss Society. Mrs. Voss was the one who actually created the Humane Society. Um,
mhm.
yeah, and they've made huge strides over there, and I like to continually support them. So, so if there's a golf tournament, you got my name on it, and the bar crawl, um, they invited me to sponsor, so I do things like that. I'm on the to stay intact with the real estate community. Everybody's like, well, if I want to be around another bunch of realtors, that's not helping me with my sphere. It may not help you with your sphere as far as your sales, but it will help you within the community. Because
Definitely.
when I worked with Joan Ryder, we had a very small office, right? There were 4 or 5 of us at any given time. One of my goals was to make sure that the community knew, I knew what the community was doing, the real estate community, and what they knew who I was.
Mm,
So, doing things within the community is not a waste of time. It's actually a really great way to know your competitors, your the folks that you're going to be doing business with. And I'd like
sure.
to think that if I submit an offer, that that people will want to work with me. I always want to be, I don't ever want to be the other way. But,
Right, most definitely.
but I want them to be able to see my name and say, oh, I know her, even if, we haven't done a deal together, but maybe we served on a committee together, or, got into something on a task force, or, work together at our office. Our offices are so big, and multiple offices here and there. You just don't know who you're gonna.
Very true. Very true. So what do you do to stay in contact with your past clients? Is it something weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? What does that look like?
Well, it depends, but for our like pop buys, I do pop buys. I put little gifts together, usually something of value, or just something cute with a tagline, and get it out to, anywhere between 25 and 50 people on my list,
Okay.
about 4 to 6 times a year, depending on what it is. We do the schedules, like the Ravens schedules and the Orioles schedules are always a good idea. They can put them right on their fridge, or, in their garages, and, that'll keep them walking by and looking at my mug. So funny, my father actually, I was in his garage the other day, and somebody must be farming his area. And there was a cute little Raven schedule with not my face on it. And I was like, all right. I was like, so you just never know, right? So
you got to add him to your 25 to 50 people now.
Who am I? No, he's on. Well, the Raven schedule goes out to all of my people. So there are certain things like the spring maintenance schedules, that goes out to everyone. The sports schedules go out to everyone. Holidays, we do a pie giveaway, and some people have pie parties. I deliver them. So
I love that.
Yeah. So about 125 to 150 pies go out.
Wow.
Here. Yeah. Usually including, right top and foremost, are the folks that I sold property to, or, used me to sell their property during the year, or whoever I could help, rentals, whatever the case may be.
Gotcha.
And then, and then the other ones are my tried and true people who are, referrals, like sent me referrals, and, and people just along their routes. So sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to the madness. It's just
that happens. That happens
down the
all
list.
of us.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen them in forever, and I know they really like jelly beans, so I may make sure that they're on the list for the Easter pop by, or
Gotcha.
or whatever the case may be. And then holiday cards, of course, don't want to forget those. And we have a client event over at the Stoneview Farm in Darlington for the holidays, and we do Santa photo shoots.
Oh, that's great.
We have a photographer, hot cocoa, cookies, Santa Claus. And if you haven't been to Stoneview Farm, it is a phenomenal, gorgeous place. And I was lucky enough to sell the farm to the folks who own it, and they did a beautiful job creating it, and it's in Darlington. So shameless plug for them. Like they're getting ready for their fall festivities. Check them out. Stoneview Farm.
That's awesome. Thank you. Now, do you have a business coach that you work with, or do you have a daily success plan that you've created for yourself if you don't have a coach?
I'm kind of a wing it. So I don't have a coach, but there are times when I definitely will pull someone in when I'm feeling like I'm on the struggle bus a little bit. So, but I do not have someone consistently. I am all about the plan B. Like, there are people out there. I got to sit on a panel with Brendan Butler and Andrew. His phenomenal agent. And his last name is escaping me. I'm so sorry, Andrew. But he's a phenomenal agent. And these guys are like, they're much younger than me, but they are heavy hitters, and they are going to come. They're coming right out of the gate. And they are very stringent. And they are very oriented. They're task oriented. They know exactly what they're doing every single day. And I am not that girl. So for all the agents out there who are not, it is possible to continually be successful without having that. And I regimented plan. And I have to tell you, I have all the respect in the world for those who do. It has just never been part of my, it's never been part of my persona. It's never been part of my habits are different than most people's, I think, in the real estate world. Or maybe not, I don't know, but I do have all the respect for the people who really do keep a really tight ship on their lead flow and everything. I just do things a little more, I don't want to call it, it is organically. It is a little more organic, I think.
Sure. Hey, you gotta work what's working for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just, one of the things I want people to, I guess I want to get across is that everybody has their way of doing things, right? So, if you don't know how to do it and you want to do it, there are plenty of people who are going to help you get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I just grew mine organically from the get-go. So
that's fabulous. And it's working for you, obviously, with the production numbers that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not upset about it by any stretch of the imagination. I wake up every day very grateful,
Yes.
I need the first hour to drink coffee, like ogle at my dogs, because I'm a crazy dog lady, and just watch them and giggle. And that really sets the tone for my day. So I'm not a person who hits the ground running. Like, my husband happens to be one of those people. God knows, there's plenty of folks out there who are like that. And that's not I need to get a little zen first before I start making phone calls and, and getting everything going for the day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, and not to mention your day probably goes a lot longer than most when you're out showing houses in the evening as well.
Well, yes. Yeah.
That's something else.
It's not a big deal to be doing emails and, following up on phone calls, because there are no boundaries.
It happens.
It happens. People work different schedules now.
Oh, yeah. Well, what kind of trends are you seeing in the marketplace right now?
So it looks like the inventory is ticking up, and we're seeing some price drops right now. I mean, I'm looking at the MLS 3 and 4 times a day on the regular. I mean, I don't think a day goes by when I don't look at least 3 times. I start my days with it and I end my days with it, so I don't miss anything for my clients that are still looking, or new clients who are looking. But I think last month we had 220 properties in Harford County alone, and now we have 280 properties in Harford County. So the numbers are coming up, but there are properties that are staying on the market longer, and I think we're seeing a lot of price drops right now. So
gotcha.
And the interest rates keep going up, and that eventually.
And everything. I mean, they're ugly. We can say it. They're ugly.
Yeah, but there's a difference between. They're not that ugly. I bought my first house for more. I think I paid 9, like 9.
Okay, I was at 6.5.
Yeah, I was at 9 7/8, and I think I was thrilled that it wasn't 10.
Right.
So it's all subjective, right? It's all
most definitely.
It's all perspective.
Most definitely.
So you look at the younger buyers, and they have no idea that anyone would have paid such things, but we did it because that's what the trend was at the time.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Are there any new apps or new technologies that you're using at this time that's new to you? Let's say as in the last couple of years, as the market has been changing?
Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people like TikTok. I like to watch TikTok, but I think I'm at that age group where I've never been one who is super comfortable I can talk in front of a crowd, no problem, but you're probably not going to see me necessarily doing videos, and like the TikTok and the Snapchat and the Twitter. They're not my avenues. I am old. I am the young people would call me an old lady because I do like the Facebook and the Instagram and Pinterest. So those are my platforms that I choose to use. But but I'm not one for live streaming, and that's something that I feel like I definitely need to get out of my comfort zone and utilize that a little bit more.
Oh, there you go. That's a good goal. Maybe you can find somebody that you think that is doing really well with that. Maybe they can help you.
Oh, I have a whole list of people that I like, realtors and non-realtors, but people that I want to get in front of, because I have to giggle. Like there's a few lenders and insurance agents that are all about like the TikToks and the and the reels, and I watch them and I follow them because I think they're great and I have a lot of respect for them for putting it like that. Yeah.
I just finished reading a book. I don't have it out in front of me. And it was how to monetize TikTok. And I bought the book, I read the book, and I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed just reading it. I'm overwhelmed. And I love it. But this one loan officer was able to get 225 people to apply online in one 12-month period, and 25 purchased. And I said, okay, now those are numbers that I can get behind. And now I need to rethink my whole mindset, because that's a lot of pudding. I would say proof is in the pudding. A lot of pudding right there. So I don't know what to do with it, because I feel very overwhelmed by it. But I love that that woman did it, and much respect to her that she was able to do it. I'm with you. I kind of like to go down TikTok as just like when I have 45 minutes to kill while I'm waiting in line for something. That's when
you go down the rabbit hole. That's the other
totally
thing.
Down the rabbit hole, especially Judge Judy. I just love, because she's very clear, very concise, and very no BS. I kind of love that about her.
Yeah, I think one of the I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. She just makes me laugh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's been hysterical for the last 30 years, no doubt.
Exactly.
Right?
And
when Judy, 5 o'clock on weekdays.
Yeah, they try to get on her. I'm like, she's going to tear you apart. I get no good. I'm no good. I spend the whole time laughing.
But that's I mean, it's like this whole generation with the influencers, right? Yeah. I'm in awe about it, but it's too overwhelming for me, and I want to watch them, but I don't want to be one, because that's not my right. That's not my thing.
Definitely. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. But do you have? But I think it's phenomenal, and my point is, like, no matter what avenue you go through, like, you have the ability to make it successful no matter what you do.
Oh yeah.
And even if someone says, "Oh, that's antiquated or outdated," well, to them it might be.
Right.
But it goes by age groups too.
Yeah. So doesn't mean it doesn't work.
People who are selling real estate in their 20s has a different approach than maybe myself, who is approaching 50 way too quickly. Yeah. So, but I think I'm very admirable of everyone who finds their niche.
Yes.
Runs with it. And those who do the multiple things, I think it's fantastic. And I love watching people, we all play in the same sandbox, and we're in a highly competitive industry without a doubt. And, I think it's human to get your nose out of joint, with this or that, or, somebody's like, oh, well, somebody reached out and contacted one of my clients. Well, define client, number one. Is it really your client, or is it like in your sphere and, they're just having a conversation? But there is plenty of room in the sandbox for everyone.
Really is. You're absolutely right.
I think one of the things that I really have appreciated as I've gotten older is that you can work for any company and you can do anything that you feel works best for your business, or you can run your business plan however you want. But at the end of the day, if you're sitting in the room with 12 or 15 people and they're all producers, and you have 2 or 3 people who are looking to become producers, you can all share those thoughts and ideas. And social media really changed that whole closed mind approach to real estate, like Long and Foster's secrets, or Joan Ryder's secrets. I'm only using those because I work here, sitting in the Long and Foster office, but you know what I mean. So it's less closed off, and I think it's a good idea to share and and help your fellow realtors, because that tidbit of information may come out better for them in the long run.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what goals do you have for yourself as you close out 2023 and start to look into 2024? Are there any goals that you have that you're trying to reach before the end of the year, or any goals that you're looking to as you look for 2024?
I think for the most part, that's a good question, because the goals I had at the beginning of the year are not the same goals that I have now.
Yes.
So yeah, I had a little come to Jesus with myself around March, I think. And, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And then, understanding that the market is changing, which, as much as we're like, oh, fast paced, everything changes. We don't like change. I don't care who you are. We're not a fan, right? So
Right.
it takes a little while to get used to that. So my mindset is a little different. I'm going to make sure that I have, I want to say, obtainable goals for next year. I haven't quite gotten around to really seeing what that looks like. My husband's 10 years older than I am. We're both going to be 50 and 60 next year. So that we've got some things on the bucket list that we are, looking to do. I've got investment properties. I've got, I want to throw a few more in the batch, our passive income later on down the road, especially since we're not getting any younger. So, I know, right? But otherwise, working my sphere and, staying in contact with all of my clients and, giving back to the community where I can is, I think I'd take a more passive approach to real estate. I don't know if that's the appropriate term, but, like these folks who have their cars wrapped in, I see them all around town. I'm like, oh. So, but that's number one, I speed too much and I can't. I don't want them to be able to pick me out of a crowd, right? I have enough problems.
I love that.
So, but yeah, I just think that really my goals would be to get back to setting a certain amount of time to make sure that I hit all of those fine points for my client contacts and making sure people know that I'm there and I care, because I really do. I love all my people. I have separation anxiety when we part ways,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. But putting on a few more client events is something I would like to do, and not necessarily huge ones, but just something like maybe a 2x2 afternoon for my lady clients and their daughters or sons or whoever they want to bring with them. Some little things here and there. My other goal is to make sure that I am always learning something. So watching podcasts, getting to the meetings, getting to the training that the board offers, or whatever the case may be, whatever you're into, Women's Council, or, the Todd Collins show, or whatever is going on, and just staying in touch with my real estate community a little bit. Because I think the busier we get, we do get away from that.
Yes.
Like I said, Betty Klepka puts on that, has a realtor roundtable.
Right.
Yes. And Kim and I did at the beginning of 2020, we had a mastermind. Thank you. Other part about turning 50. Your brain doesn't work.
I'm with you. There too.
The words that you're looking for just don't come to you as easily, right?
It definitely does not.
Like trying to find something witty to say in an argument or a debate, and then you find it after it's over, and you're like, oh, that would have been perfect.
Let me text them.
Exactly. Once it's done. You should just leave it in the past. Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah. I'm not dwelling. That's one thing I'm definitely going to work on, is not dwelling on my shortcomings as much, making sure I remember they're there. So maybe I won't go back to that.
Yes.
But trying to focus on the positive, leave the past in the past, look at my numbers in the future, and try to write out maybe the next 5 to 10 years. So I don't have to do it when I turn 60. I'll do it because I want to. And I'll be one of the little real estate ladies who just stop working one day because I moved to Florida. Maybe.
That's such a great plan. Thank you so much, Heather, for coming on here. Thank you for sharing with us about your business, about your telling us about your production and how you do what you do so well. Please take a moment, listeners, and give us a review, an honest review on here about what we could do to help you grow your business, and about what you're learning here with Heather herself. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and until next week. Thank you for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers podcast. We'd like to ask you 2 favors. Number 1, forward this podcast to 3 of your favorite realtor friends. They'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. Number 2, we'd love reviews. It helps get the word out.